Testing. It's working, Janie. Should I leave it on or turn it on? I came in and it took me that also. I'm going, oh, this is wrong setup. I think they did it with Jane's benefit. So she can give, not to point out that she. Yeah, yeah, I know, I always forget, I'm sorry. I know. How's everything? All day. I did not have something that I did. I was calling. I thought. Yeah, so that. Yeah. That's why it's not gonna cost any, that's why it's not gonna cost, it's not. Yeah. It's gonna stay up. It's gonna stay in people, and then it's will. Oh, no, it'd be a short. That's good.
Janie Anderson, Dale Blenton,
Present.
Rodolfo Barrientos, Judy Hammerberg, Michael Lanat,
Here.
Village staff, Doreen C. Grant, Luciano Nibbs,
Present.
Rafael Gutierrez,
Present.
Vanessa Cherry present.
And good evening once again, everyone. This is a meeting of the Village of Biscayne Park Code Compliance Board. The board is authorized pursuant to Chapter 14 of the Village's Land Development Code to ensure compliance with the village's Code of Ordinances. The members of the board are citizens and residents of the Village of Biscayne Park, and we volunteer our time and are not paid for our services. The purpose of each hearing is to give any alleged violators the opportunity to contest the decision of the code compliance officer, which resulted in the issuance of a notice of violation, and to determine whether a violation of the village's code has occurred or is occurring. We are not authorized to dismiss violations based on hardships, ignorance, or the fact that others may be guilty of the same violation. These hearings are conducted in a quasi-judicial manner. Our responsibility is to act much like a judge in a court, and that is to hear cases presented by the village's code compliance officers and to hear contradictory arguments presented by the alleged violators. We are not authorized to change the code. The village commission is solely authorized to enact or revise codes. Conversely, neither the commission nor the village manager have the authority to overrule the findings of the board. Pursuant to Chapter 162 of the Florida statutes, orders of the board can only be appealed through the Circuit Court of Miami-Dade County. We have the authority to assess and order the payment of civil penalties, to issue orders having the force of law, to command whatever steps are necessary to bring a violation into compliance, and to assess administrative costs. In order to make a finding upholding the code compliance officer's decision, we must find that there is substantial, competent evidence that the named violator was responsible for a violation of the relevant section of the code as charged. All documentary evidence presented by the parties must be submitted for placement in the hearing file. No documentary evidence will be considered unless the alleged violator or code compliance officer submits a copy for the hearing file. Each party shall have the right to call and examine witnesses, to introduce exhibits, to cross-examine opposing witnesses on any matter relevant to the issues, even though the matter was not covered in the direct examination, to impeach any witnesses regardless of which party first called them to testify, and to rebut the evidence against them. If you intend to address the board and have not signed in, please do so. And anyone wishing to address the board, please stand. Raise your right hand so that you may be sworn in. You are reminded that this board is a quasi-judicial board, and giving false testimony can be penalized.
Please stand up. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? May be seated.
Do we have any additions, deletions, or changes?
I'd like to see the minutes to the end of the meeting.
Right, Vanessa, if you could remember, always put the minutes as our last item before discussion. That way folks don't have to sit and listen through it. And I would like to just add two very short discussion items. Procedure for expired permits and the need for an alternate for this board. I promise I'll make it short. Any other changes, additions, or deletions?
None.
We're ready for our first case.
Good evening, Doreen Grant, Code Compliance Department. In old business, which is section 7 of the agenda, 7.1, for the address located at 720 Northeast 117th Street, for case number CEN-24-381 for Icon Capital LLC in care of their registered agent, Jeffrey Icon. This case is being brought before the board for an intent to lien. They were violated under section 8.4.3.1, property maintenance for paint and maintenance of the exterior wall. They have complied on the violation, and I would like to enter onto the record permit number EPP 24-23. They, however, remain non-compliant with the fine of $500.
I'm looking at the two pictures side by side, the one titled violation and the one titled compliance. It looks like the same staining still exists. Yet,
That's correct. I believe the order was for them to get a permit by a certain date.
okay, they have actually pulled the permit. so
That's correct.
They're not complied as in it's
Yep.
done.
Painted the house yet. They are working on a lot of other things. That's correct.
I was a little confused.
Same question.
Just a little confused. Okay, questions from the board,
If there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion.
please?
I'd like to make a motion to affirm and move to file a lien against the property for $500 plus applicable filing fees.
A second.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second to file the intent to lien for the outstanding fine and any applicable filing fees. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 7.2 for the same address and same property owners, case number CEN 24-383. Case brought for intent to lien for a fence maintenance violation of section 11.6.7 A, B, C, and D. They are now in compliance with the fence. It was repaired. However, they haven't paid the fine of $500.
Sort of got the same question as in case number 1. Our picture showing compliance is of an open gate. So how are we to know that in fact it is now plumb and it fits okay, properly, if there's a pool back there, when it's an open gate?
Well, I looked at it a little differently in that the first one, the hinges are missing.
The brackets are
Correct.
missing.
The second one,
Good
the
catch.
hinge is there, and it's, to me, that's complied. It just happens to be,
Okay, good catch. Thank you. 'Cause I was expecting a picture of a closed gate, but thank you. Would any questions from the board?
no, and none for me. If there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion in case number CEN-24-383, to affirm, and request the village move forward to file a lien against the property for $500 plus any applicable filing fees.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 7.3 for the same address and same property owners. This is for case number CEN-24-596, an intent to lien. They were found to be in violation of section 8.4.3.1 B, C, and H for property maintenance. The driveway and walkway paved surface has been showing signs of discolorations and cracks through the entire surface area. They applied for a permit, and I would like to enter onto the record DWS-24-57. However, this permit was rejected by Planning and Design Review Board on October 22nd, 2024. They still owe $500 in fines.
Do we know why the permit was rejected?
I read the notes, and they just say rejected. There was no explanation.
Yes, they've already been issued. It puts us in a tough position. They've already been issued the affidavit of compliance.
The affidavit of compliance was, the order of the board was for them to pull a permit for the driveway. So the driveway has been pulled.
Or is that saying yes?
It's in process.
It's fine, okay. Has there been any communication from the property owner?
Yes, you will see in the next case, which is CEN 24-652, that we've had numerous email exchanges with the property owner.
In terms of settling this situation,
Yes, they will be going back to planning and zoning after they make the corrections that they need to make.
any other questions? Motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion in case number CEN-24-596. Motion to affirm and move that the village follow lien against the property for $500 and applicable filing fees.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 7.4, same address and same property owners. The case number is CEN-24-652. This is an intent to lien. We found them in violation of section 11.9.1.35, swimming pools. The gate, the swimming pool was unsecure because of the same gate that we saw in the previous case. It's now in compliance, but they still owe $500 in administrative fees and a violation fine of $250.
Was all this stuff done with these violations? They were all done at the same time or different times?
They were done at different times.
Okay. So that's why you're saying that you are asking for an administrative fee on the same property for like the second or third time?
Administrative fee was already assessed. The violation fine was already assessed, so they owe $500 on this case.
For the administrative fee or for the fine?
The administrative fee was $250, the fine was $250.
The 250, 250.
Dollars for both.
Okay. And this is the one that you had all the communication with the homeowner? With
That's
the
correct.
text messages and the emails?
Yes.
And do you know why they're not here tonight?
I
Did you communicate about that?
was hoping they would be here. They're not here tonight. They didn't say why. They're not here in the meeting tonight. I was hoping again that they would be here because we've had extensive communication with them. They didn't want us to do a reinspection.
Okay,
Swimming.
Administration fine and the admin fine were assessed back in September.
right. I mean, are they renovating the house? Is that, I mean, what's going on with the whole situation as you understand it?
They are renovating the house and they've gone ahead and applied for some permits. However, I was very concerned about the swimming pool because it was in very bad shape. And I was hoping they would allow us onto the property to re-inspect the swimming pool. But the owner was adamant that he's not going to let us onto the property.
And why was that?
I have no idea.
Wait, he's saying that he's not going to allow you to re-inspect the pool?
Correct. And I did explain to him in detail that if we do not re-inspect for compliance, we cannot comply the case.
You know what I realized when I looked at the Dropbox file today? All of this additional paperwork that I have, or the copies, is not on the Dropbox file.
Well-
So, Michael, you may, I don't know.
I don't think I have that. I mean, I've got all the communications
So the next one, I believe, coming up is what you're addressing. It has to do with the pool itself.
Okay,
This one has to do with the fact of the pool was not secured, because
because of the gate.
Right.
Of the gate.
Right, but that, I mean, so that's what I was actually thinking of, because you got one for the gate and then you got one for the pool, so the,
I have two for the swimming pool, one for mosquitoes and the other one was for the pool not being drained.
okay. Right, I see the pictures. They're not
This one,
pleasant.
as far as the violation goes, technically in compliance.
Yes.
But if it's technically in compliance and they don't allow for,
That's the next one.
That's
That's the
that's
next
coming up.
okay.
This is bound by the fence. Once the fence was repaired, this problem is solved, except the fine is still outstanding.
And we were able to re-inspect the gate because it's in plain view. The swimming pool is not, it's in the back of the property.
Okay.
If-
Any other,
I was gonna say, if there are no further questions,
No
I'd like
fur-
to make a
But
motion.
if the gate's open, then it's not securing the property. The picture of the gate shows the gate open.
You
There's
have
no
another
other-
picture. He has another picture of the gate closed. I think on the day when they went to take the picture, the gate was open. There might have been some people on the property cleaning
Right.
out the pool.
I'll take that. That's fine.
And just so I'm clear, the pool thing is because of the previous fine was because of the draining and also the bugs, and then they wouldn't give you an opportunity to, to clear that,
That's
which
correct.
is, okay, and that's where it stays. Okay.
Right, with the two violations that I'm about to read now, they did not allow us to go on the property and do a compliance inspection.
this one
Got
is
it.
simple because
It was the gate, we
it's
could
in
see it
place, it's in
from
place.
outside.
So if there are no further questions and everybody's, I'd like to make a motion on case number CEN 24 652. I'd like to make a motion to affirm the violation and to move the village to file a lien against the property for $500 plus applicable filing fees.
Second.
We have a first and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Judy, second?
Yeah.
Next item is 7.5 for the same address and same property owners. This is an intent to lien. They were found to be in violation of section 11.9.6 swimming pools. The swimming pool was filled with water up to the top surface, entire swimming pool surface overtaken by overgrown vegetation. As discussed earlier, property owners did not allow us to do a compliance inspection. And as a result, fines have been accumulating daily at $250 a day. Total fines today are $9,250.
Just seems counterproductive, but that's his right. He doesn't want. Can't bring the case to conclusion. The fines will continue to grow.
So just so I can understand this, because it seems like there was a lot of communication. There's text messages, emails, there's a lot of back and forth. Did the point in time, was there a point in time which was the same time that, don't come on my property and the communication stopped? Is that what happened? There was some bright line because he's not here. We don't know why he's not here because you haven't been able to communicate with him, but you also have a lot of evidence that you did. So when did that happen?
We have different dates, actually. The text messages came earlier, right after we issued the first violations. We got in contact with his assistant in the office. But at some point, if you read the messages, he said the assistant does not speak on my behalf. I have to be the one that gives permission. She did give us permission to go and do the initial inspections, but he was very angry about that. He wasn't, according to him, he did not give her permission for us, permission to speak on his behalf. So there was that confusion. Towards the end, the assistant was in communication with us again. She sent us several emails that she said she had been sending to us. I hadn't seen those emails, but she had some pictures that she says confirm compliance. I did explain to her that I cannot use her pictures or anyone else's pictures. I had to get on the property to get compliance.
It's the same principle. You can't write a violation on somebody else's pictures.
Right.
You can't cure a violation on one either. It's not legal.
And this person, I mean, because I'm trying to envision like who this person is, because obviously they're not here and they had notice of being here, right? You know, there might have been some older person that, you know, just was very private. This sounds like a guy with an assistant that's somewhat sophisticated.
This is a business.
Right. I
Right,
mean,
Vanessa was just telling me, some of the mail we've been sending to the legal address that's in the county records has been coming back unclaimed. However, he is aware of the violations because, as you can see, he's been in constant communication with us.
Since this is a safety issue, does the village have any legal recourse? Because let's face it, if this
Got the-
hasn't been tended to, it's got any number of potential safety ramifications.
When we were on the commission, we passed ordinance about putting plywood over unsafe pools, but at the same time, Ed Young, our lawyer, was very specific to tell us that it's a slippery slope we walk on to cross onto somebody else's property. So basically, it was done more as a, we're trying to make a statement here.
plus they got, I mean, the fence is there. I mean, the fence, he's got his property secured.
Right, the property is secure. Initially, it wasn't. As you can see, the gate was broken. And we saw the swimming pool from the neighbor's property. We didn't see it from the front. So the neighbors are the ones who actually mentioned that there was a swimming pool there if you look at the initial pictures for the swimming pool, you see that we couldn't even see the swimming pool at first. We couldn't have known there's a swimming pool if no one told us.
Michael, I'm thinking more than just a child falling in or something. I'm
Right,
thinking
an
of it
animal.
being a breeding ground for all sorts of vermin and figure
Absolutely.
neighbors have to
Mhm.
deal with this.
Yeah, the property has been so poorly maintained. It's vacant, we understand that. However, the maintenance has been so poor that an accident could have happened there. It was an accident waiting to happen.
And this is, I mean, the owner is Icon Capital LLC, doing business as Jeffrey Kahn?
That's correct.
Okay, so it's a business, I mean, this is a business.
It is a business.
Okay, all right.
All right,
If there are no more questions or comments,
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that in CEN 24-653, we lien the property for the amount that is owed as of this date with whatever filing fees are also owed.
I'll second, and that amount is $9,250 as of.
which will change, of course, by the time
They
it's
file.
filed. Yeah,
As of today, that's it.
I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 7.6, same address and same property owner. This is for case number CEN-24-654. We're bringing this case for intent to lien. They were found to be in violation of section 8.4.7E, lot maintenance and cleanup. This swimming pool was providing a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
So I was talking about in the last case, about them together. This is just the second of that, right? You had the one where the pool was filled, it needed to be drained, and this one is now the mosquito one. Okay. Just want to understand that we're talking about different things, but one big thing.
Any more questions or comments? Can I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion in case number CEN-24-654. Motion to affirm the violation and move the village to lien against the property for $9,250 as of November the 6th, 2024, plus applicable filing fees.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, 7.7. This is for the address located at 820 Northeast 111th Street. Case number CEN-23-315, Reyes Investments, 820 LLC, in care of his registered agent, Raul Reyes. We were bringing this case for intent to lien. However, the property owner has paid the fine for the violation, and it's now in compliance.
Any questions? Not a motion?
On case number CEN two three five, as the resident has complied and paid the applicable fees, I'll move to, close the case.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 7.8, address 11335 Northeast 11th Place. This is for case number CEN 24-276, Equido Gonzalez. We are bringing this case for an intent to lien, found to be in violation of chapter 5.6 off-street parking. The driveway did not meet design standards. However, the driveway was replenished today. It's now in compliance. Fines have run in the amount of $20,000. Since Mr. Gonzalez is in compliance, we are recommending that we provide him with an application for a fine reduction so he can get the fine reduced. He's here today, Mr. Gonzalez?
He needs to be sworn in, Bennett.
He came in late.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, or nothing but the truth? Okay. Good goes.
Liam?
Folks, first and foremost, I apologize for my tardiness, traffic. Oh,
Sir, if you would, identify yourself and your relationship to the property.
I'm sorry. I'm Eguido Gonzalez and I'm the owner. And
Good evening.
I guess Doreen was very helpful yesterday when we spoke. As I shared with Doreen, I had received a letter from the village for a meeting on July 17th. And unfortunately, I cannot attend in person like I can today due to my wife's health problems. And therefore, I spoke with Vanessa and she provided a Zoom meeting number, and which I dialed in, and I kept receiving these messages, and where basically it's telling me, this is probably the more commission proclamations, please wait and wait and wait. And I did from 6:09 all the way to 6:31. I just took
Thank you.
screenshots.
Thank you for doing that. sir.
Sure, no, I would have preferred to have been in person, but could not. Therefore,
Did we know that we had problems communicating? No, but I mean, like, are people having that problem right now?
I don't believe, did we provide a Zoom number to, we didn't provide a Zoom. We only provide the Zoom number if someone tells us in advance that they would like to come on Zoom.
Okay.
I personally, I appreciated that option, the fact that I couldn't be here in person. But like I said, I attempted to do so, to identify or understand what the issue was. Finally, yesterday, Doreen explained what the issue was. Quite frankly, I think that this whole thing was a mistake. We have gravel on our driveway, and it's white. And I've since Googling and whatnot learned that gray granite, chips of gray granites are more durable, more lasting, better for the environment, so on and so forth. You lay it down once, looks good, and you don't need to worry about it anymore. And we did that. We started doing that shortly before we were fined. And I think the gray granite stood out from the white, and it appeared like, well, this is, partially done, that kind of deal. And I think that's what happened. And that was resolved today, thanks to Doreen sharing.
Well, my question would be, seeing as how this appears to be more than 50% deteriorated at the beginning, wouldn't it have to come into driveway standard? code because, this is not properly, the boundaries are not according to code.
Sure, correct.
And there's to be a border at the front where it meets the, street as well as the border around the perimeter. So while there may be gravel replacement, I don't see where it's come into compliance as far as being a proper
The-
driveway. So,
And if I may, we are bounded on three sides.
here's-
Partially.
We,
uh,
right.
well, I'm sorry, the partial, just to answer the question, it looks like the little ties that you find in the parking lot that are placed, and I don't think that that is according to our, code.
You-
I don't know. I'm leaving that up to code officers. I'm only pointing out that right now, according to what I'm seeing, I don't see where it is meeting in compliance.
Well, I mean, but you said if it was needed 50% or more, but
Correct.
but what he was saying was that he had enough of the rocks in there before. He was just gradually making a change, and it made an appearance as though it was not, that it was,
And that's what I took
Curated.
into consideration when I looked at his case. He had white gravel in the beginning, and then they threw the granite over the gravel. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
So it looked a little haphazard. It wasn't that the driveway was completely, it was under 50% when I looked at it. And that's why I was,
so you don't believe it was more than 50% at the time? It was more of a optical illusion
it was an,
or visual,
I don't want to call it an illusion.
mirage?
No, it's just
However,
darker,
Looking-
darker granite versus.
Going to
looks like,
contrast and give the appearance as though something is missing.
In
Right.
looking
Body,
at the
correct.
picture of July 10th, I'm looking at major gaps of gravel, not contrasting gravel, but gaps of gravel. And anything more than 50%.
No, I think that they're not. They're little rocks.
Wait a minute. What I'm looking at is the order of enforcement, and it says, that a violation occurred, there shall be full compliance with the stated provisions of code of ordinances by pulling the necessary permits to install the driveway. It didn't say replace, it said to install a driveway.
that's
That's
correct.
the order of enforcement.
That's correct. However, I did review the case, like, as I stated, after I spoke with Mr. Gonzalez, I reviewed the case and reviewed the pictures, and it was my conclusion that there was miscommunication, especially on the illusion of the white stone and the gray stone.
And what you were saying when you wrote that, right? what
No,
you
I
just read?
didn't.
That's the order.
One of my officers issued
Okay,
the violation.
okay, but was it predicated upon the notion that it was less than 50%?
When he looked at when he issued the violation, that was the
Right.
idea.
So it was predicated on something that that you took into
That I had to go
consideration.
and, that I had to verify.
Right.
So I went back and looked at the case again.
More than 50% requires an actual border, and the border, the concrete has to be below ground.
That's right. But what she is saying and what he has testified to under oath is that it was more than 50. It was fine in terms of the amount of rocks that were there. He's just changing the rocks. It created an illusion that looked like more than 50%, which you still believe it is. I'm looking at the photograph, not looking from the iPad where you can go in great detail and see that those are little rocks there. They are not,
That current picture as of today, I'm
no,
looking.
this is the old one.
old
This is the old one.
July?
Yeah, this is the one from July. If look at, those are little rocks in there. They're not, they're surrounded by dark rocks. Those are-
That pea gravel compresses when you drive on it and turns into
looks like
sand.
Bald
Yes, I
spots,
did.
but it's not.
I had to re-examine it myself.
Let me just restate my position. At this point, I'll leave it up to the code officer, code department to bring it back before us if there's a request for a reduction. Currently, I don't see where the border meets the standard. I would be hard pressed to see with little round things down here. And then on the other side, it's, got tubular concrete things. It's not even, they're not even, what's the word?
And set in the ground.
The
No
two
uniformity.
sides, there's no uniformity to the border of this property.
I
And that's a problem.
Well, that's a problem now that when you're
It's a
looking at.
problem whenever it was
The
there.
predicate of all of that was the appearance that there was less than 50% of the driveway that was there, which was not.
we're
is what she
focusing
said.
on the rocks. You have to focus on the entire driveway. And when you look at the hodgepodge border, some of which is broken up, that to me is also part of the driveway, and that contributes to the more than 50% deterioration.
Well, maybe that's a violation that comes next, but I think that the predicate of why we're here today wasn't anything to do with those borders. It all was predicated upon the amount or the appearance of the amount or lack of rocks that were there because he's changing the color. So that's not for, what you're talking about is, in my humble opinion, is not for today.
Right,
But
and
it's-
Mike, I'm sorry, Janie. Mike, I agree with you in part. I'm only going by the order of enforcement, which was to pull a permit and bring the driveway into compliance. So right now, we're not at any of it. There's been cooperation. I'll leave it up. I would rather leave it up to the board, I mean, to the code enforcement officers to bring back a proper
We, mhm,
hearing,
correct.
fine reduction, whatever, but I would be hard pressed, and as a neighbor, if I were a neighbor of here and having to think that came into compliance.
I do respect,
Anybody else to a driveway as such as that, or the residents and the property owners who abut this property, or any tenants that abut the property, you know, we shouldn't have to settle.
Well,
Clinton, if I may interrupt, in keeping with Mr. Lenat's points, I did myself a disservice by upgrading from gravel to granite. It's simply what happened here.
that's a no good deed goes
That's-
unpunished, basically.
Bring it back
Sir,
to
I'm
courts.
not even stressing just the gravel. I'm looking at
Borders.
that border as part of your driveway. And when I see the condition of that border, to me,
That's something.
that together is more than 50%. That's where I'm having a problem.
Our
Misunderstanding.
standards
I appreciate
require concrete that's sunk in, I believe, 4 inches to enclose the gravel on all 4 sides so that the gravel doesn't go free onto the street.
we respect
And if-
observations of the board, and we will work with Mr. Gonzalez to make sure that border is done. We will bring him back in December for a fine reduction, but we will ask that he brings pictures of the border done correctly.
Yeah, I guess, and if I may, and I apologize for taking up any more of your time, in keeping
That's
with
what
Mr.
we're here for,
Lenat,
so.
well, we appreciate that, thank you. The catalyst for this violation, if you would, was in fact, and not an optical illusion, but simply a visual issue, and I did myself a disservice by wanting to upgrade from gravel to granite, and I respectfully request that that be taken into consideration. As
We'll,
Mr.
we'll
Lenat has.
provide you with information on how you can bring that border into compliance, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank
And
you,
I'll
Ms.
be happy to give you this form to fill out. It's $50 to apply for reduction.
Very good. Thank you.
Sir, our meeting in December is December 18th. Would you be able to make that meeting? 'Cause I think we'd really appreciate if you'd be there.
Pardon? Not yet. I don't know. Nothing's.
Yeah, the problem is people can watch it on Zoom, but you can't really participate on Zoom because we don't have an interaction with the Zoom. So the Zoom is for watching it later. It's really not a way, we have no body to monitor Zoom to take care
It
of
may have been my
an
misunderstanding,
interactive.
which Vanessa very
Yeah.
kindly provided the number. The meeting I.
Right. You can
I
watch the
didn't
meeting.
participate.
There's no further questions, and I would like to make a motion in CEN 24-276 that we table this till the December meeting. Give the property owner a chance to come back and apply for a fine reduction.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
You can read it. Step down. This is a fine reduction.
But if you guys don't think that it's compliant, then how can we do a fine reduction?
Who seconded the motion? Michael. Thank you. I just wanted to mention to the board that a representative for cases already heard for property 720 Northeast 117th Street is here. However, we will have to speak with them at the end of the meeting if the board so desires. Next item, 7.9, 11401 Northeast 8th Court is for case number CEN 24-122, property appraiser information protected. This case appeared before the board for 2 violations, and we are here asking for an intent to lien found to be in violation of section 8.4.5D. They still have the storm shutters on the property. Over the windows, they haven't removed them.
Has there been any communication with the homeowner?
We were in communication. We spoke to him on the phone. I believe before the first hearing, he was very upset that we are issuing him with violations. He did think we are being fair, and he hasn't been in communication after that.
He
This is
just told you
plywood.
what he thought, and then he,
Do you,
was it?
if you remember at the last hearing, the neighbors
Yeah.
couple that was here, right?
So he just, the communication was to tell you what he thought about everything, and then that was it?
That's correct.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
I think it's about a month and a half ago we spoke with him. No, 2 months, because we didn't have a hearing. They are from September.
This is plywood, correct? It's not shutters.
Is plywood?
According
Yes,
to
that's correct. That
description,
is
it's plywood.
plywood boarded up windows.
Questions?
No.
All right, anyone like to make a motion?
Sure. In case number, I'd like to make a motion in case number CEN 24-122. Make a motion to affirm the violation and move the village to file a lien against the property for $9,250 as of 11/6 and applicable filing fees.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
It's Dale Judy.
Dale and Judy.
Thank you. Next case, 7.10 for the same address and same property owner, intent to lien in violation of section 8.4.7. They have excessive unattended growth of weeds, brush branches, and overgrowth in the rear of the property. Outstanding fine is $9,250.
Any questions?
Does-
Motion?
Yeah, nothing's changed since then.
Days.
All right.
Nothing has changed.
okay,
If there's no questions, I'd like to make a motion. on
Okay.
Case number CEN 24-156.
Before you do, the people live there as far as you know, right? It's not a vacant.
It's not vacant. The gentleman lives there.
Okay.
That a motion to affirm violation occurred, to affirm the violation and move that the village lien against the property for $9,250 as of November the 6th, 2024, and any applicable filing.
second,
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Moving to new business, which is section 8 of the agenda. 8.1 is for the address 620 Northeast 116th Street. This is for case number CEN 24-659, Alexander J. Rubin and Ariel Gilder. They were requesting an administrative hearing for a citation, $25 owed. They have paid the violation and it's now in compliance.
Make a motion in CEN 24-659, a violation did occur. The property owner has come into compliance. Let's close the case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 8.2 for 640 Northeast 115th Street. This is for case number CEN 24-625, Ricardo Jose Lucina and Johanna Lucina. We are asking for an order of enforcement. They have been found to be in violation of section 16.3.1, building permits required for the construction of a structure in the rear of the property without first obtaining permits. They have since obtained a permit, and I would like to enter onto the record permit number 1530544.
When was that obtained?
Still in process.
2 hours ago, 3 hours
No.
ago.
Still in process since,
I'm sorry, your, sir,
They applied
name
this
is,
afternoon.
my name is,
your name and your relationship to the property?
okay, my name is Juan Rodriguez, and I represent him through Arcon Engineering, which gonna be handling their jobs. So we already got the drawings submittals, and I got a power of attorney. From now on, I'm gonna be in touch with Rafael and anybody in charge with code compliance. This is a power of attorney that's from the owners to me, so I can address. And we already got the process since I was trying to upload the files, but the system was changed, so it was rejecting me, no password accessible and things. Finally, I believe it was a day before yesterday, it went through with CAD, with the new one. So it's already in the system. So
So there's no actual, it hasn't gone in front of P and Z or anything else for this?
not
They-
yet.
No, not yet.
Just
They applied
applied.
this afternoon. Yes, correct. And they are right. The system has been transferring from our old system to a new system.
According to the notice of violation, they were given a compliance date of September 9th, so we're 2 months past.
That's correct.
This was cited August.
Well, I mean, the homeowners are here, right? So maybe we can hear from them and find out what the delay was, and maybe it was excusable delay.
I was hired by them by the time, but the thing is that I'm partially been working on it because I am a cancer survivor and I've been in treatment, so I couldn't put myself a full time in there. So by the time I was hired, so I was at the UM in treatment. And I still carry a pump that it was installed on me because of the chemotherapy for my liver, so, but they did the right thing. I am the one, and I apologize to, we represent, we're doing the drawing, and we're trying to get it all together for them so we can get the permit.
Well, first of all, I hope you're doing well,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
okay? And second of all, when you guys were in contact, what, y'all, why don't you guys come up here and let me ask you guys. So you gotta,
Introduce yourselves, please, and your relationship to the property.
Ricardo and Joanna Lucena, we're the owners of the property.
and you guys were in contact with the contractor
Correct. So, I mean,
when?
we started talking probably late August. In the beginning, we were trying to figure out, first of all, what this whole thing entailed, and we were extremely ignorant of the process of what had to be done, and which I apologize, and I know that you
We
mentioned
all
originally.
were at one point, believe me, you are not
So,
alone.
Again, but we're not making any excuse to it. That's what we hired Mr. Juan, because we were lost in what the process was. He's been kind enough to help us, done all the drawings, translating the Chinese of that to me. But again, we're extremely apologetic and we're making no excuse for being late. I know we've tried to communicate with the city a couple of times that we're working on it, trying to buy us some time to get everything in order. I know Mr. Gutierrez has been in the house a couple of times. He's been trying to guide us and help us, and we appreciate that.
But the bottom line is that you were in touch with Mr. Juan
Correct.
in late August after you got the,
Correct. And I mean, if you want, we have communications with them that we can show you. in
no,
front
but
of
I'm
us.
just trying to understand the timeline, because there's been a discussion here about the delay because
Correct.
of certain compliance dates that were not met.
Correct.
Now, you talked about being in communication. One of the things you may want to have said was that Mr. Juan was in cancer treatment at UM and therefore unavailable to give 100% of his time because he's trying to survive at UM. And then now he's in a good shape where he can now devote to your property, and that's why you're here on, November 6th instead of
In reality, my
September 9th.
my
Ye-
biggest issue
Is-
is when construction on the outside is started without a permit, there has, again, a potential safety issue.
You can't do construction without a permit at all.
We're probably,
That
Alright.
was the whole thing for me was.
Yeah.
Regardless of a contractor or not, construction was begun without a permit in August. That's
Yeah.
how the notice of violation came about.
Mhm.
and for up to September to, take some action to obtain a permit. Right, no,
Actually, they applied for it. They have to go in front of P and Z before it gets granted or denied.
right,
In the
but they've
meantime-
applied for it.
In the meantime, there is this outside structure constructed minus any permitting or inspections.
Right.
Well, I mean, Mr. Juan, have you looked at the property? Does it look like it's in imminent danger of falling on a child or somebody out there?
Right now, it's not unsafe. It's just that all they did is they put a couple of walls of block, but they got reinforcing on it, so. What I'm gonna
But
try
the-
to do is as soon as we get something that we get the approval from the city, start getting, that
But
thing.
the village's inspectors have not been there.
Right. So we're not sure if this, whatever is already up there is going to be allowed to stand. We don't know if it meets our codes. We don't know if it meets the setbacks. We don't know anything on it as of yet.
Mr. Juan, are you a general contractor?
DC Professional Group. Yeah.
Okay, so the outfit that you work with are general contractors? Okay, did any of those guys look at the property? Are you an engineer or a contractor? But what is your background? Are you an engineer? Are you a general contractor? Okay, but you're not a general contractor or an engineer? Okay, so has anybody looked at that wall that was an engineer or a general contractor?
The contractor that signed the document, yes, that's the contractor. She already been there. Girl.
Without the city's involvement, we have no idea, Mike.
No,
He said,
no.
if this will be allowed to remain standing. It could be in a setback. There's any number of things we don't know. So
Well,
that's,
But it's being presented in the drawings with the setbacks and everything is being
Yeah,
presented.
but
Right.
we don't know to this point. But
Right,
What my issue, as I see it, is how it's cited. Construction of a structure, the rear property without a permit. So to me, we're here because a permit wasn't issued prior to starting construction. So one is since then, so I assume they paid a double permit fee
That's correct.
and they will move forward with the next action. So it's somewhat in compliance now to a degree, a small degree, but the issue is, did or did not they start construction without a permit? Me,
yes.
moving forward, I'm looking at it.
The violation did occur.
I told them that because they shouldn't, but they didn't know. They were not aware of that. So,
All right.
if there are no more questions, anything more you
No,
folks
from
would
our
like to
side,
add?
I
Okay.
just want to reassure that we're gonna try, well, we're going to do everything possible to be
Can I have a
compliant.
motion?
Case number CEN-24-625, I'd like to make a motion that a violation has occurred, assess a fine of $250, administrative costs of $250, and to come into compliance by December the 20th, which allows for 2 P&Z, planning and develop and design meetings, if not a $250
December what, Joe?
20th.
Can we have it on the 18th so we can bring it back to the board? The meeting is on the 18th,
Of November?
December.
December.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, by December the 18th. I thought I was looking at the planning and design.
and in the case that
Ah.
is,
December
that
18th?
the
Yes.
Or
case that the
250?
drawings, they got comments or revision or something that have to be done
You can ask for an extension.
for that PCN. Okay,
Yeah.
on the 18th.
That gives you two planning and, wait a minute, one, that gives you actually 3, is it 3?
No, it gives them two, the
Oh, yeah.
25th and the 9th.
25th and the 9th. It gives you 2 planning and design meetings to
I'm
attend, to
sorry.
get it approved.
It's the 2nd and the 16th, excuse me, I was looking at the.
It gives you 2 to go to obtain it. If you haven't gotten it by then and it's still in the works, you ask for an extension when you come back to us for the 18th. We'll have a hearing on the 18th,
great.
hopefully by then.
I'll second that motion.
I don't understand the motion. So you're saying that because they did do this construction.
That's a fine.
Then you want to come into compliance by 12/20.
12/18.
12/18.
Okay.
That means having a finalized permit. Full, with, going to P and D, planning and, design, and, having it approved. If they haven't, they can come back to us on the 18th, 2 days later, and say, we're working with them. Here's where we are. I'd like an extension.
Okay. And that wall that you built, how tall is that wall?
Right now, it's like at 6'8".
6'8". Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna restate. So it's a
Restate.
50 fine, 250 administrative fee, come into compliance by December the 18th, or a $250 per day fine thereafter.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
When you guys look at that wall.
Thanks for your help. Yeah, no.
All right.
Thank you.
I didn't, I'm gonna do something, but I'm gonna send somebody to raise it. So it should be okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Okay.
Good luck to you too.
Who's second? Janie?
The next items are 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5. There's a special report on this particular property. In the recent past, our police department was called to this house. They found squatters living on the property. There was criminal activity. They found firearms and narcotics inside the house. 3 gentlemen were arrested. The house has now been boarded up for protection to secure it. And we are asking the board for a continuance on this case. The property owner has an open permit for new construction, meaning they would like to demo this house. Although we don't have a demo permit in the system, we do have an open permit for new construction. Now, with the situation that occurred, we are asking for some time for the property owner to be able to sort out the legal issues with the house now. Go ahead and apply for a demo permit.
Is this the house that somebody had passed away and then
Yes.
it changed ownership right after her death? Okay.
Yes.
What kind of an extension do you think would be appropriate, Doreen?
January?
January. It's the meeting, we haven't set a meeting. Unfortunately, we haven't set up the calendar yet, and we'll be providing that calendar for next year on December 18th. We can do it we can give them a continuance till December 18. I'll get in touch with the property owner for a progress report.
Is that okay with everyone? All right, I would make a motion then in cases CEN 24-662, 663, and 665, that they be tabled to December's code meeting for an update.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 8.6 for 830 Northeast 116th Street. This is for case number CEN 24-471, Matthew Bone, Ashley Seabrook Bone. Did I pronounce that right? They were found to be in violation of chapter 8.4.2 property maintenance for their mailbox that was loose on the ground. They have now corrected this violation and are in compliance.
Any questions?
Any questions? Anyone?
All right.
Motion?
Sure. I'd like, in case number CEN-24-472, I'll make a motion, a violation occurred, make a motion that a violation has occurred, assess a fine of $250 plus administrative costs of $250. And that this has been pending since a courtesy notice of July the 3rd.
250.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, 8.7, same address, same property owners. This is for case number CEN-24-472. The address on the property was not displayed, so they were found to be in violation of Chapter 8.4.6. They are now in compliance.
None?
I'd like to make a motion in CEN 24-472, a violation did occur, but they have since come into compliance, assessed a $250 fine and a $250 admin fee.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 8.8 for the same address and same property owners. This is for case number CEN-24-584. They were found to be in violation of section 18.5.4. The fence on the bottom, the fence bottom of the screening material was sagging and not secure. They have corrected the violation and are now in compliance.
Questions?
Which number is that?
8.8.
No, I'd like to make a motion on case number CEN-24-584 that a violation occurred, is now in compliance. Assess a fine of $250 and $250 administrative costs.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 8.9 for the property located at 931 Northeast 120th Street. This is for case number CEN-24-289. Property owners at 931 Northeast 120th at LLC. We are asking for an order of enforcement. They were found to be in violation of 16.13 exterior paint permit. The wall on the left side of the duplex has a large rusty mark, and the wall on the right side of the duplex has paint chipping at the bottom.
I only see pictures on the left side. You have any on the right?
Violation is this. Sienna?
I have
You can see under the,
pictures of the left.
The left or right side?
is the property owner here?
No.
No? Questions?
Well, no questions. I'll just make a comment. I do see a courtesy notice was given back in May the 3rd, 2024, and the notice of violation was on September the 17th with compliance date of 10/2. Has there been any correspondence from the property owner?
There has been no correspondence from that property owner.
So May,
Are they living there at the property?
At the property, they have tenants there, but no property owner.
Okay.
on homesteaded property, looks like it's a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
Mailing address is Doral.
Yes, and this property has been advertised for sale.
There are no questions. I'd like to make a motion on case number CEN-24-289. That property is in violation. A violation has occurred. Assess a fine of $250 plus administrative costs of $250. Come into compliance by November 24th, or a $250 per day fine thereafter.
I'll second.
At the right?
Pardon?
Yeah, that's
Uh,
their iPad.
Pass it down.
Right side.
That's the right side.
I'm sorry, Jill, the compliance date, the 24th?
Yes, 11/24.
Okay.
Because pulling a permit, if it's a pre-approved color, requires nothing.
Yeah, it does. Okay, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Moving on to 8.11, 8.12, and 8.13. This,
10.
did I miss one? Oh, it's the same one. Starting at 8.10, 11, 12, and 13. The property located at 10801 Griffin Boulevard. And property owner is Griffin Miami LLC in care of their registered agent Zen Business Inc. We had an issue with this particular property owner. They had paid some violations that had fines on them and fees. However, if the vendor informed us that the fees were contested, disputed, and we had to bring them to the board so we could get liens on this on these 4 violations. However, they did come in and pay the violations, so they are in compliance.
Okay, so all of these cases,
All 4 of them.
all right? Well, if there are no questions, I'd like to make a motion on case number CEN-23-353, CEN-24-468, CEN-24-475, and CEN-24-476, that the fines have been paid and moved to close.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, 8.14. This is for the property located at 11270 Northeast 11th Avenue. The case number is CEN 24-486, Swami Real Estate Corp. We're asking for an order of enforcement. They were found to be in violation of 16.14, double fines for columns that were installed in front of the property facing 9th Avenue without first obtaining permits. Are you? It's 9th Ave. Okay. 11?
No, it's not. It is 9.
It's just 9th, okay.
Hi.
Oh, 9th Avenue, you're right.
Sorry.
Apologize.
Do I talk? My name is Daniela Ospina. I'm the 10.
One second.
Ah, okay.
Questions from the board? Any questions?
Well, so the violation is just for not getting the permits, not
The columns.
but the columns are okay. They just didn't get the permit.
Columns are fine, but they need to get permits for them. They need to go through planning and design review. In fact, the violation was reported by the chairperson for the planning and design review. They said this is not up to code.
So we don't know if the columns are fine.
And that's right, until they go through planning and zoning.
Again, looking at positioning, we don't know if they're
right.
in the setback.
It appears to
don't know
be in
how
this.
it's anchored. That's what happens when things get done minus the permitting process.
They are beautiful.
Yes, they are.
They-
But I have to say, they're not like build. They're just coral columns that we put to put the address because it was really hard
But
to find it.
Even if you would.
To
your
find the
na-
address, I'm
if
sorry.
You would, your name and your relationship.
Oh,
to the
okay, yes,
property?
Daniela Ospina. I am the tenant, the owner, because it's under a company, so it's all that.
It's not so much what they're built out of or whatever. It's placement. It's securing them again because
Securing.
something outside
Yes.
could go airborne.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could fall on a child.
I mean, they need 5 people to move them, but the only reason we thought it was okay, which I have no problem going through all the process and trying to see. I mean, I can just remove them. My landscaper was the one who installed them. It's not a big, honestly, deal. But we see all over the neighbor like this concrete rocks to protect the outside the property line that we didn't think this was major. We were just making it beautiful and try to show our address because it's
They
really
are
hard to
very
find
pretty,
it.
But we
Yes.
have to make sure.
Absolutely.
You know,
No excuse.
the
to-
concern would be if there was a child standing there and a car tapped into it and it fell over on a child. Also, it appears to be in the swale. It doesn't appear to be on your property. So you're not allowed to put anything unless it's vegetation that's not on your property.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's up to P and Z whether it meets, they'll ask you for a survey and how they're secured and all that.
And they're not. So I would just probably have to remove them because they're just extremely heavy. You need 5 people to install them, but they're not, they're just placed in there. That is the reality. So I'll probably just remove them instead of going through all that trouble.
I wish you wouldn't. I wish you would try.
They're really
I'll try.
pretty.
I'll try. I'll give it a shot.
Any other questions? Can I have a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion on case number CEN-24-486 that a violation has occurred. That's a fine of $250, administrative costs of $250, and direct the property owner to apply for a permit and obtain a permit by December the 18th, or remove. If not, by December the 18th, if not, a $250 fine per day.
I'll
Okay.
second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I have one more. It's coming.
Next item is 8.15 for the same address and same property owner. We're asking for an order of enforcement in case number CEN-24-497, double permit fees for a trellis installed on the property facing 9th Avenue without first obtaining permits.
Isn't that kind of in their interior yard because their whole yard is fenced off?
But if you're,
Facing Ninth Avenue, it's actually facing north.
My driveway.
Yes.
yeah, but if you're building anything on the exterior, a trellis or whatever, I mean, when I put up my screen enclosure and it was just screening, I had to get everything permitted and inspected from the slab on up.
Any structure needs a permit.
Do I need a GC for that? Do I need to get a general contractor for this? For the
You
permit? or
you
do-
can apply for permits as a property owner, but it's up to you if you want to use a contractor.
On your own.
Okay.
They just what? They would just to apply for the permit and then pay the
And-
double fine and then just be done?
Correct. When they apply for the permit, the idea is it goes through the process of planning and design reviewing to ensure that it's properly done and it's up to code. And then it goes through building review to make sure it was properly done. And if they pass it and the permits are paid for, we comply the case.
Okay.
Yeah, that is.
Whole property is gorgeous. I walk by it every day.
And that
Thank
too may be something that requires a survey, because
Yeah.
I have to tell you, when we put in hand railing,
Mm.
we had to have a survey for the permit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
other thing you may.
everything in this town requires permits.
We are right now we're working with it, and I thought I was gonna be able to get this done before because we are doing a whole remodelation of the house. We're working with an architect to almost, not knock it down, but a lot of it to make it bigger for our family. So we know all this is gonna go anyway. It's gonna be gone sooner than later.
Okay, any further questions? If not, I'll make a motion. In case CEN 24-497, a violation did occur, assess a $250 fine, $250 admin fee, come into compliance by pulling a permit or removing by December 18th, or $250 daily.
Perfect.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Any opposed?
Well, for the reason of the description that it says is facing Ninth Avenue, and I don't think that it is, and the other things that I saw from the discussion, no.
Okay, so motion passes 4-0. Try it again, 4-1.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
1140. 8.16, another case for 1140 Northeast 8th Court. This is case number CEN 24-708, property appraiser information protected. You've already heard two cases on this property that came for intent to lien. This is a new case, and we're asking for an order of enforcement for a large hole in the soffit on the eastern side of the house.
This is the property owner that's not talking to you anymore.
Correct.
I have a question. To obtain a permit for, the correction or replacement of, of the soffit, would that have to go before P and D?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that
I
would
didn't
be,
have to when I had to repair mine. I had to pull a permit, but because I was replacing what was already existing,
yeah.
I didn't have to go in front of them.
I think it
Um,
depends on the size of the project for some permits.
Yeah.
Permit, yes, but I have a feeling when it's replaced, it probably would not, unless they see it as so major, but it's not gonna make a visual difference. I wouldn't think, anyway. If there's no more questions, we have a motion?
Or in case number CEN 24-708, like to, make a motion that a violation has occurred, assess a fine of $250 plus $250 administrative costs. Come into compliance by having a permit pulled by November the 24th, or a $250 per day fine thereafter.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item is 8.17 for the same address and same property owner. Case number CEN 24-709. We're asking for an order of enforcement. This property is very poorly maintained. There are a lot of unsightly trash and objects on the front porch.
Any questions? Questions? In that case, I'll make a motion. In case CEN 24-709, a violation has occurred. Assess a $250 fine, $250 admin fee. Give the property owner until November 24th to come into compliance, or $250 daily.
Second.
Go ahead, Judy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Next item, 8.18. Property address 11820 Northeast 12th Court. Case number CEN 24-607 for Sean and Lourdes Dolk. We're asking for an order of enforcement for a trailer that's parked on the property, on the right side of the property facing 12th Court, right? This is in violation of Chapter 7.3.1, conditions for storage of recreational vehicles and trailers.
They're all the same trailer, or three different ones?
It's all the same trailer. I assume, I can't see what you're looking at. I only have one trailer.
Was the white one,
colors.
the green one? did you
And a
get it?
gray one?
Yeah, so, okay, my name is Sean Dolk. I'm the property owner. So, yeah, so I bought the trailer because I have a pickup truck as well, but I'm hoping to sell it. And, you know, I always need things, whatever I'm doing. And so I needed a trailer. And so I like the idea of a pickup truck trailer because it's versatile. So I bought it, and then Luciano said, you can't have a recreational, or not a recreational, a utility trailer. So I've been trying to sell it. And as you can imagine, the first picture, it's taller and it's green, kind of unsightly if you, depending on if you ask my wife, especially. So all the feedback I got was that it's too tall, don't really like it. And so it's been for sale for a while. So I said, okay, let me fix the feedback that I'm getting. So I lowered it and I painted it primer gray so that hopefully it's a little more appealing. Fact of the matter is I'm still trying to sell it. I don't know where to put it. I mean, I'm happy to park it here. I'm happy to park it at the police station. I don't
Oh,
know where else to keep it
they-
other than my driveway.
There are storage facilities that you can park it at, and that's where most people who have recreational vehicles around here, they'll find a storage facility that they can rent a space at to park it.
Okay.
Or
I
if,
mean,
if it can fit in the back of your property or to the side with a fence,
it possibly could fit behind the fence, but then if you'll recall, I was here before about having a fence issue and I don't want to take the fence down to put the trailer there and then be in violation for that.
not a good
So I'm
idea.
stuck between a rock and a hard place here.
The
Uh,
problem I'm having is it's already gone on 3 months, and we have a lot of people who I'm sure are not happy with the fact that they can't have trailers, RVs, whatever, in the front yard. So there's a limit to how far we can go.
We got a price too high.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have a price tag. I had it for $750. I mean, I don't know what else. I could park it somewhere and just give it away at this point. I mean, because if I get hit with all these fines and
be
then if I pay a
cheaper.
monthly fee somewhere, I'm definitely, I've got more in storage space than I would have in it.
Is that cars for kids? Maybe they want a trailer.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, WLRN takes donated vehicles, you get a
Little tax write-off.
tax write-off for it, but there's other.
Maybe that's the way to go. I mean, yeah, I'm just kind of, I'm at a loss. I don't know. I can't put it anywhere. I don't know how to sell it any faster. Otherwise it would be gone
Oh,
already.
you did this, you did the literal, you put the cart before the horse, right?
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
Oh.
Well, yeah, there are plenty of people in the neighborhood that have utility trailers, so I didn't see the issue before I bought it. I mean, I think that's obvious. Had I known it was gonna be a violation, I never would have bought it. But, so yeah, I literally put the cart before the horse and now I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. I'm open to suggestions. I guess I could donate it. That's the best suggestion I have, because I can't just drop it somewhere, then I'm gonna get a
No,
ticket
not a good
for,
idea.
No.
you know,
Or-
so I don't know. I don't know.
Or if you have a neighbor who has a backyard, it would fit in to let you put it there temporarily until.
Do you have one, Jude?
No, you can see clear through my fence.
Yeah.
Wouldn't help you.
So, and so one thing Luciano did say is if it's beside the house, then maybe that's a thing, but mine's a duplex, and so the front, the one unit is up front and mine's kind of
Yeah, it
offset at
has
the
to
back.
be behind the
And then
front
it's
facing.
technically in front of my house, not
No.
beside it,
visible
even
from
though
the
it's beside
street.
the structure, it's not
Visible from
beside. Yeah, so I guess donate. I genuinely do not know what to do. Unless anyone knows someone that wants to buy a trailer. Or knows that needs a trailer. At this point, apparently I'm giving it away too.
Okay, if there's no more questions, can I have a motion?
Case number CEN 24-607. The violation has occurred, $250 fine, $250 administrative fee, and to come in compliance by November the 24th, or a $250 per day fine thereafter.
I mean, do you think November 24th, you can figure it out by then?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna be donating it, it won't take that long.
Just like
The only
what, 2
reason it's
weeks? Is that
lingered
2
this long
weeks?
is I don't have anywhere to take it.
Well, the day is the 6th. Yep. But I mean, he's had actually since August the 14th.
Well, he's been trying to sell it. $750 is apparently too high.
I know, I had a similar, I'm only going by experience with a trailer that we had and Louis was cited. Well, it took no time for him to find a place to put it.
Okay.
You gotta
It ended up
remember,
at public storage, so, and I pay each month, we pay each month, so.
a lot of people want to be able to keep their RVs and trailers in front. The more they see people doing it, the more it's like, well, why not me? So we have to kind of balance.
Well, I understand, but he's making active efforts. If you're comfortable that you can get it done by 11/24, then I'm fine with that. I mean,
Yeah, I'll be able to get rid of it, but I mean, I'm gonna have to give it away. Apparently selling it is not gonna happen. I've been trying, I went to all the effort to paint it and appeal to a broader audience, but
Offer up. And
that's what I've been
Facebook
doing.
and, you know, or, well, no,
Neighbors.
next door, yeah, neighbors.
Yeah.
Store and
This is great.
offer up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's anybody from the village, let them know also that they have to put it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, there's plenty of people. I mean, we all walk around. There's at least 4 trailers in people's driveways that I see every day.
But there
I mean,
may
it's
be,
happening,
there
but
are some situations
feel-
where people have been grandfathered, but there are also situations where these folks may
We
be.
cited them already.
I'm sorry?
We may have cited them already.
Also, before the code changed that didn't allow for them anymore, people who had them at that time, so long as they were licensed and whatever, were allowed to be grandfathered in for that one vehicle.
If they could prove they couldn't get it behind the front facing of the house.
Right, if they couldn't get it before the front face of the
Okay.
house.
And I
Yes.
second Dale's motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
So
Motion
to be
passes
clear,
5-0.
the fines are happening regardless whether or not I get rid of it before the 24th.
No, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, the violation fine, yeah,
Okay.
and the administrative, costs of.
But the daily
going out.
fine will start.
Will
if you
start
don't
on the
get rid of it by
24th.
The 24th.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that.
Do you need a trailer? I'll drop it off at your house, free delivery.
I don't have a little hitch on my Tesla.
All right.
Yeah, Sean, it couldn't hurt to ask the guys in Public Works.
Yeah.
They may know somebody.
Okay.
Ask some of, village staff. They may know.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I was trying to sell it, not give it away,
Well,
but
yeah.
now that's
And
no longer
maybe
an option.
somebody in Public Works would buy it for cheap.
It couldn't
mean,
hurt to reach out.
nobody's even offered 500. I mean, it's not that I've been playing hardball with them.
Yeah.
It couldn't hurt to reach out to those guys.
Yeah.
'Cause some of them have landscaping businesses and whatever.
Yeah.
You never know.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Hey, and I hope we don't see each other like this again.
I hope so.
All right.
Hope not.
Who was the second?
If Janie was.
Janie.
A second.
Thank you. Next item is 8.19 for the property located at 12022 Griffin Boulevard. This is for case number CEN-24-190. Carmen and I do not want to,
Ben, it's Bienvenido,
Ben?
Bienvenido Figueroa,
I
property
do
owner.
not
That's
want
my
to
wife,
mess up your
Carmen.
name.
I go by Ben, it's easier.
All right, Ben.
Hi.
And we are asking for a continuance because he
Correct.
was not going to
s-
attend, but
yeah.
he's here now, so.
Yeah,
order of
so
enforcement.
I opened a permit.
One
some
second, sir, 1 second. Let me finish.
Let the board have their
Right. So we have found them to be in violation of 16.3 building permits. They had installed windows without first obtaining permits. So we were going to ask for a continuance, like I was saying, because he wasn't able to attend, but he's here, so we are asking for an order of enforcement.
Like, he first applied, the property owner first applied back in May. May 6th.
The violation of April.
Yeah, the notice of violation was April 23rd, but it shows that he applied for the permit in May, but there's nothing since then. Do we have any update from Did it ever end up in front of PNC? What was the, what did he, as it says, receipt of notarized application on hold.
Because the application, I believe, was not notarized, it wasn't complete.
No, the application is notarized. There were some questions in the, am I able to speak now? Okay, all right. There were some questions on the application. I called. I believe I spoke to Luciano Nibs, Mr. Nibs, and he gave me some guidance. I went in to attempt to complete the application. It requires some information that I didn't have. And this all stemmed from the fact that we actually had somebody who was going to do the windows, a contractor who ripped us off, and, long story, but here we are. So I took the job upon myself, and I've been slowly getting it done. So what I'm asking for is the time for me to complete the permit, which I can do by the end of this week, and then I'll come back and apply. I know there's a double fine for the permit, so I'll comply with whatever is necessary. Just give an opportunity to finish the job.
My concern is twofold. One, that you started without having the permit, and two, nothing since May. We're looking at
Ma'am,
6
let me
months.
correct that statement. I did not start it without permit. I hired somebody to start it. Let me explain how we got here. I hired somebody to start it, and the person stole the money and what have you, and I had to take over. So therefore, I learned at that point, when there was a notice placed on my door, I learned at that point what I needed to do, and I took action. There was some information. In fact, in my permit application, I put in a lot of documents to support what I'm telling you. And in the process, there are some very specific questions that I didn't know how to answer. I actually went to the window manufacturer, who's located in Hialeah. I found to the labels to get additional labels and screws that I needed, learning everything from YouTube. And that's where I'm at. I'm gonna comply. I know I started it and I didn't follow through because there were other things going on, but I'm present, I'm here. I changed my schedule yesterday. I attempted to get a continuance for next month. I was told that you guys were going to have this hearing without me attending, and I am vehemently opposed to having somebody speak about me or my property without me being present to address it.
Just for future reference, sir, and believe me, anybody who's done construction work in South Florida, we know there can be various, just let's say, ethical issues with some contractors, but it still comes down to the property owner.
Yes, and I acknowledge and I accept
The
it.
buck stops with each of us as property owners.
But the permit is also going to have to go in front of planning and design. I know I had to do that with my windows. Yep.
Okay, I'll follow through. Like I said, I will complete the application and I'll move forward. My original intention were to ask for a continuance, thinking that this could be postponed till next week. I believe it was you, Ms. Grant, who explained to me that the next hearing was December the 18th.
December.
So what I did, I moved things so I could be here today because I didn't want to wait. But if I'm allowed, by the 18th, I'll be in full compliance.
If there's no more questions, can I have a motion?
Okay. I'll make a motion on CEN 24-190 that a violation has occurred and that we assess a $250 fine with the $250 administration fee, and that we give a date of, what's the date we've been using? Is it
December 18th.
December 18th?
So,
For things to have gone through P and Z and the permits to be taken care of. Otherwise, there'll be a $250 day fine.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No, I was just saying, and if.
Yes.
Please ask, come before us for an extension.
Will do. Thank you.
I'm going to I vote no.
Motion passes 4-1. But yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. What's the difference between the yes and the no? Just like,
I didn't think that you should have got, I would have supported giving you a continuance until.
Oh,
the
thank
18th
you.
to Get all those things done and they come back and to come into compliance by then, but I'd rather.
No,
I
but-
appreciate it.
But
Thank you for
once
explaining
building
that.
starts without a permit, we're kind of tied.
Understood.
We can't pretend it didn't happen. Exactly.
Right.
That to me is
Understood, and
always-
thank you. Thank you all for your time.
And
All right.
please, sir, if you can, our meeting is December 18th.
I'll be here. I already have it on my calendar.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
And it's
thank you.
looking good there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good to see you.
Next item is 8.20 for 12085 West Dixie Highway. It's for case number CEN-24-706, Horatio Duar. They were found to be in violation of Chapter 19.1.3.9 A and B, short-term vacation rental license required. Horatio is advertising to rent a property on a short-term basis without first obtaining a permit, a license.
Questions from the board? Any questions from the board on this case?
No.
All right, sir, if you would identify yourself and your relationship to the property.
Sorry. My English is bad. Only for Publix, McDonald's. I speak with Rafael Rodriguez
Rafael, do you want to?
Can you translate,
for my
please?
help.
Would anybody have an objection? We'll let the gentleman speak in Spanish, and Rafael, would you translate?
That'd be fine.
So that the gentleman will be more comfortable. Go ahead, sir. You may
En
speak
español.
en
Okay,
español.
okay, thank you. Bueno, estuve en mi país, en Argentina, por un problema ocular en el ojo izquierdo, una operación de córnea. Tengo que regresar. Llegué unos días antes, un par de días antes de esta noticia. Mi hijo, que vive, son dos dúplex, vive en uno de los dúplex, sin mi autorización, insistió con una publicidad de Airbnb, lo cual tenemos necesidad de solucionar. Pero inmediatamente le pedí que baje la publicación.
Okay.
Igual
We hear from
tenemos...
Rafael first.
Okay.
Before he has too much.
Okay, this is...
Okay, so Mr. Horacio, he went to Argentina for some eye surgery, so he was there for a while. During his absence, his son, who also resides on the property, went ahead and listed the unit with Airbnb without his knowledge. So prior to, then we issued the, I think it's a notice, was it a notice of violation?
October 3rd.
Yeah, so then we issued vacation. So therefore, when he came back, he found the notice from us. So his intent, I think, excuse me, ya bajaste la.
Sí, se
okay.
bajaron.
So upon his return, then he went ahead and took off the listing from Airbnb. And so it's no longer being advertised through Airbnb, and he's going to go back to Argentina to proceed with the eye surgery.
We have confirmation that it has been removed from the platform.
The package we are passing around was printed at 3 p.m. today. The property is still being advertised on Airbnb. When did he go for the surgery?
Now,
He
this
said
is,
that, before coming into the
Hearing?
hearing, his son told him that the son took down the listing.
this,
But
this says documented stay going back to 2016.
Also, there's a review from September this year that addresses his hospitality
We-
and mentions him by name.
Horace, you're a very good host, apparently.
Entonces, okay. So he's going to proceed and apply for the license, the STBR. He's going to, yes.
Quiero hacer un comentario adicional, reclamo que me están haciendo. Tengo un problema de la electricidad.
Yeah.
Un año y medio, tiraron un cable porque se había cortado el cable subterráneo de provisión de electricidad en casa. Desde el vecino, por fuera de la caja de electricidad, hacia mi propiedad. 5 reclamos y no tengo solución. Tengo electricidad, pero el cable está peligrosamente desde la calle, pasa por un vecino que está pegado a mi propiedad, entra a mi propiedad por el suelo y no tengo solución. Si ustedes me pueden ayudar, 5 veces lo reclamé. Lo reclamé hace 3 días. Me dieron un teléfono de donde hacen ellos el servicio.
Hope you got a good memory, Rafael.
Si ustedes me pueden ayudar en lo que sea con
Señor.
esto, les agradezco.
Un momento, por favor. Go ahead, Rafael.
Oh, he was just sharing with me an issue that he's having with FPL. So there's some electrical issues in his property, and he contacted FPL 5 times, and he hasn't been taken care of. So he wanted to know if there was anything we could do to help him.
The city does have some contacts with FPNL. I know our prior managers did, and I am sure that you can dig up the information. If you can't, I'll be happy to reach out to Mario.
Yeah, we can check with Dina because she pretty much deals with issues like this. So,
Then discuss
Yeah.
that, but we need to
Yeah.
kind of get this to a conclusion.
yeah, so the conclusion is that he is going to apply for the rental, the STBR license. And the violation was without his consent while he was traveling in Argentina.
He is going to apply for.
He is going to apply for the license.
So if we have no further questions, could we have a motion?
Let you guys do it.
I'll make a motion in case number CEN-24-706. Given the testimony of the property owner that it was done without his consent, I'd like to just assess an administrative fine of $250 and to have come into compliance by either removing the listing or pulling the application or obtaining the application by November the 24th.
But the violation's been going on since 2016.
That wasn't what was brought before us.
Okay.
I mean, the citation.
And to be fair to Horatio, the ordinance wasn't active in 2016.
Well,
It's 2021.
All right, come into compliance by November the 26th. That's, if not a $250 per day fine thereafter. So right now, it's just the administrative fee of $250. Fly by November the 26th, if not a $250 per day fine thereafter.
I'll second. Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Could you
So I'm going to explain to him. Yeah, el board está hay una multa de $250 por costos de administrativos. Luego tienes que sacar el permiso el noviembre 26. Si no sacas el permiso el 26, van a empezar a cobrarte $250 por día.
Or take it off.
Perdón.
Or take it off.
O bajas la publicidad.
Está baja seguro. Pero independientemente de eso, voy a ver si en un par de días puedo presentarme aquí a resolver el tema de la licencia. No voy a esperar hasta el...
No.
La oficina pago la multa.
One second,
Mire, usted tiene que aplicar cualquier día lo que tiene es la fecha de hasta cuándo puede aplicar por el permiso. Sí, hasta ahí tiene para cuándo aplicar el permiso, pero puede hacerlo usted mañana si quiere.
Quieren que pase inmediatamente a abonar la multa.
Más o menos, pero el problema es que ha habido ha habido una violación de ordenanza. Entonces eso se está, con el costo administrativo se está balanceando. Pero usted puede aplicar por el permiso desde mañana hasta noviembre, que se le está dando el término.
Tiempo para hacerlo.
Exacto.
Rodolfo, we do have to wrap this up, so if you could please translate what you said.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just telling, that he needs to apply basically what Rafael said, that he needs to apply for the permit for the rental until the 24th, is it?
26.
November. Anytime from tomorrow till then. He was assuming that, he had to do it by then. In other words,
Gotcha.
you don't have to
Right.
wait. Yeah, he said he's not gonna take it, he will pay for the permit.
Okay.
All this happening without his knowledge. Also también tiene que ir para la ciudad, ordenar con el RTR.
Ustedes no me pueden ayudar en nada.
Nosotros no, la oficina sí. La oficina tiene contacto con
La oficina de ustedes.
de la ciudad. Okay.
Mañana.
About the permit, the problem with FDNL, that he needs to get in touch with the city and.
A ver si con la influencia que tienen ustedes pueden ayudar. Es un peligro.
That's
Está-
That's something he needs. That's something he needs to go into Village Hall and talk.
Yes.
We need to go to the next case.
Sí, good.
Les agradezco a todos, especial a
Rafael.
ti que sea a quien recurrir.
Thank you, señor.
Thank you very much.
Gracias, thank you.
Those were all the cases we had for the board tonight. However, I had said the lady for the property 720, right? She's here. It's up to the board if you want to speak with her or give her a moment. 720 Northeast 117th Street.
That the one? 117th? Yeah.
Yes. The first 6 cases. They've already ruled on the cases, and we'll be preparing orders. If you had anything you wanted to tell them, you can.
Your name and your relationship to the
Yeah,
property, please.
of course. Kirsten Gradle. I'm the assistant to Jeffrey Kahn. He's the property owner.
Mhm.
So,
First of all, you got here late, right?
yeah, 1 minute late.
Excuse me, Michael, she needs to be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Perfect. So I do have a site plan with me. I don't know if you guys want to look at it. So the whole purpose of this property is going to be an investment property. The violations that we've had on the property, granted, they were supposed to get taken care of. So I know that's the owner's responsibility. So the whole plan moving forward is to get them taken care of so we can move forward and continue with the renovations. We have a whole entire plan to upkeep the property. I know the current state definitely says otherwise, but again, it's an investment property. We want to get it up to par. The other homes in the neighborhood, they're really nice. So the complaint, we hear you guys out completely. Moving forward with the liens, it's going to inhibit us to continue to make changes. The contractor won't work with us right now.
The problem,
We got over $20,000 of fees tonight.
Yeah, I know. But I do want to say we came into compliance with everything before the dates that were set last
But
meeting.
you
we
didn't
did not
allow
go on the
inspections
property.
on the pool.
Yeah, the owner didn't allow you guys on the property.
So that's not compliance.
issues. There's a
Mhm.
significant amount of fines outstanding.
Mhm.
And the almost bigger issue is not allowing our code officers to re-inspect. So we have, what, 2 or 3 violations that we don't know.
It
are
was
in
eighteen
compliance.
thousand 500 for the mosquitoes and for the pool that were required because he said no, and he's a
Right.
business, he's sophisticated, he's got some, an assistant.
We've
he's an
kind of,
assistant.
I just started in September,
Okay,
so.
there was an assistant
yeah.
that said that apparently, you can't go on the property or whatever, and nobody speaks for me and all that stuff. And now he got a daily fine because he was, not allowing anybody to help him. help
So,
himself.
yeah, and let me just explain. So I don't want to paint him in a bad light, but his understanding was that the violation was given based on whoever had looked over the neighbor's property, I believe. Is that correct? So his understanding was, okay, can they not look at, to make sure we're in compliance with the pool, especially with viewing it the same way it was given? But I understand. You guys still have to look at the property yourself, take your own photos. That's what Doreen was telling me. So I guess just moving forward, we want to make changes to the property. So what's the next step so we can do that? If the liens are put on there, it makes it a lot harder to do that job.
We don't have a choice.
Question of the village, how long does it take to file a lien? If they pay off the current fines within the next 10 days, would the village have proceeded that quickly?
No.
So you may have 2 weeks, they may have.
Right. If we can get on the property and close out the cases for the swimming pool, that's if they're in compliance.
Mhm.
They can pay the $500 for the bigger liens. You can come December 18 and ask for reductions, only if there's compliance.
Okay, and then let me make one more point as well. So the paint job that was done for the property maintenance on the exterior of the home, that was submitted, I believe, by me on October the 9th.
That one
Or-
is good. We
Yeah,
closed that
and-
one,
yeah, and
but you
then-
have $500
Correct.
outstanding.
Yes, no, and that's fine. And then there was another permit for the driveway walkway slab. So that went against the planning board. So all we need to do is redo the swale, sorry, for the right of way because the impervious and pervious calculations were not correct.
Right.
So we're working on it.
your bigger issues are the 2 pool
Yeah.
issues that the gentleman will not allow inspection.
Okay, so yeah, we'll definitely get you guys to come on the property, get it taken care
The
of. No
fines
problem.
continue to build
Okay,
until he allows for inspection and they can see compliance.
okay.
So to wrap it up,
150 a day.
7-1, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. And let me see, I don't know about, 7-4. Those are $500 each. Those are just the original violations that need, and administrative costs that haven't been paid. You
Okay.
complied by starting whatever you needed to.
Mhm.
Well, like they said, the other 2, as of today, you're at 9,250 each. It'll
Mhm.
continue. Once he's come into compliance and had the village do it, then you can come before us and ask for a fine reduction if it's been complied with. If not, then, I would think that the village has already been directed to move
Yeah,
forward.
no
So you
worries.
may want to move on that quickly
Okay,
so that
tomorrow.
yeah, so that the village doesn't move forward with filing those liens. 'Cause they've
Okay.
already been,
That's-
directed to.
That's 500 a day, right? 250 a day.
No.
Yeah, 250 on each.
On each.
250 a
there's-
day on each violation of the.
Those 2 probably would have been a couple $500 fines, just like the other one, if he hadn't said, don't come on my property.
Exactly.
And so you gotta tell that guy, he's gotta work with, the village. I mean, he got violated and they're trying to help his own situation.
Yeah, I guess the way he's been looking at it is just there's a bunch of fines, so it's just been overwhelming, but I completely hear you.
What he did, by his perspective, is that he made it worse.
Right.
Right.
It was counterproductive for him to do that.
Yeah, and we don't want to fight. I know we've
No,
had
no,
some
no.
conversations as well. The
Absolutely.
goal is just to come into compliance. We can make
But a
changes,
perfect
make some revenue,
example,
hopefully.
He would have had 2 more $500 fines.
Yeah.
Instead, what he has is almost 2, almost
10,000.
Mhm.
If he had just said, okay, they can come on.
So I do have one more quick question, just to make sure I go over everything. So for the pool, I know I had sent her photos as well with the whole cleaning, making sure it's not a mosquito breeding ground before the date of the cutoff.
Right.
But
No.
it's still not usable to take away those fees because you
Legally,
okay.
legally, for example, no one can, code officers cannot write violations based on third-party info.
Okay.
So they also can't close a violation based on third-party info. they have to witness.
We can take it into consideration if you provided it,
Yeah,
but right now,
I get it.
Our
Until you
village
go
has
on
to
there.
clean it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
let us see it,
Okay,
then you can come before us for a fine reduction.
okay. And I believe you guys needed written authorization from the owner, correct, to get on the property? So can we take that? Am I okay to give consent to Raphael to go?
My concern, if it's not in writing,
Okay.
is your owner has shown a propensity for kind of not being.
And one of the things that we heard
Real
from Maureen was, tonight, was that apparently there was initial consent, go back there through an assistant.
Yeah, that would have
He
been
said,
me.
Nobody speaks on my behalf.
Me, right.
And he got all out under the collar about the fact that you had allowed, the village to do their job and get on the property. And then after that, that's when he shut it off. So, you know, that's, you know, why, one of the reasons why we require writing, because you get situations like that.
Yeah, and again, I'm not the owner. I was open to the idea, so it's not always in my control, but I will get authorization from him tomorrow. No
Billing
worries. After tonight's meeting, if we can come up with some type of brainstorming and solution, I'm fine with it. So no worries.
Of course, is compliance.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
We want that contract at the signing.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah.
So much. I
Okay, thank
appreciate you hanging in there.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. I'm trying to get everything up to code. So hopefully now that I'm, in the picture, we can get everything done and moving forward. and
But for everything we do, if our people don't see it, it's not to code.
Yeah.
It's the same with the building permit. If the building official is not allowed on the property to inspect it, it's not done. And it won't be passed. You can't send them pictures. They don't know if the pictures are of that property or another property.
In today's world of Photoshop and other things. gotta
Yeah.
be visual.
No, it
Thank you
makes
again.
sense now. Yeah. Thank you guys for your time. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion.
Some quickie little discussions. I promise to keep it very, very quick. What is? Thank you. Did everyone read?
I have
September's
one
meeting?
question on it, and I may not have written it down correctly. On 8.9, I had that Michael had, seconded.
8.9
8.9?
was Dale and Jane.
Pardon?
Was Dale and Judy.
Yeah, I may have miswrote on mine. That's why I was just asking if anybody else.
8.9, yeah, I have Dale and Judy.
Okay, all right, then I have no,
Dale and Janie, I'm sorry. Did I say Judy?
Down here, it's Dale and Jude.
And I have Dale and Judy on my writing.
Oh.
Are you looking at the minutes or the?
Minutes.
Or the minutes?
Oh, it's the minutes. We're looking at this girl.
For September,
Minutes,
on my notes, I have Dale and Judy.
8.9.
okay,
They're
that's
checking it.
fine.
Did you say Dale and Judy for 8.9?
No, not today's 8.9, the minutes 8.9.
The minutes.
Yeah.
We have it correct?
Yeah.
I just wanted clarification. Sometimes I don't get through second things,
Oh.
and I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September the 18th, 20.
And I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick. What is the procedure for expired permits?
That was me.
Somebody has a permit expired, they have renewed it. The maximum amount of time they're allowed. Does the village follow? Because we're just seeing so many projects languishing. That's it. There they sit.
Yeah. So in the past, what has been happening was when a permit expires, it just sits there. Now, if someone else wants to buy the property or a property owner comes in for another type of permit, the building clerk now notices there's another expired permit. She does send them emails or messages sometimes, not always. But if she notices that they have a permit that didn't go through or has expired, they charge them the full amount plus half, is it? Depending on the type of permit? Or double for an expired permit? I believe it's a full amount and half, I could be wrong, but they charge them to close it. They just don't close it. If someone comes in for a lien search and there's an expired permit, they have to pay for them to close the permit. Now, recently, we've looked at the permits like the chairperson says, there's been too many. So when we find these permits now, we started bringing these cases to the board so that they can be closed out or ruled upon, because they can't just leave these permits, apply for permits and just leave them open.
Exactly, because you're starting to hear from more and more people, you know, that
There are jobs that have already been done, the permits doesn't get closed out and it just sits there. So
Thank you. One other quick question. The alternate, does he get the
Yes.
agendas and everything
yes,
all I needed to know, because now I can follow through.
we did send an email inviting him to this hearing, by the way. I did call, yes, but I left a voice message.
I wanted to know so I can then approach the commission that they need to find another alternate, right?
I
Wait a
did
minute,
leave a
no, I
voice
still have
message.
questions on the permitting that, and I'll keep it quick, Janie, that you brought up. So a permit that has expired, you'll be bringing them before us?
Correct.
I mean, my question is, so you'll be looking and going, it hasn't been done?
Correct. So a permit would never close and it will have an outstanding amount in the system if it's not closed. So I'll bring them to the board because now they have this fine that's sitting there. If they don't pay it and close it, we lien the property. I mean, we come here to get the order of
Right.
course, to lien the property. It's mean.
Oh, I'm just trying to think. So if they pull a permit to paint and the property's never painted and it's never been before us,
Yeah.
then what, would you be citing them? If the permit is expired and they never painted it, wouldn't you be also citing them for, paint the property? I mean, that you no longer have a valid permit.
Yes, that's what the process should be, actually.
Okay, right, because whether the permit's expired or not,
They have to do the work.
they need to do the, I mean, if the permit's expired, you no longer have a permit. You may have paid, I mean, it's a free permit to begin with. So the issue would be, if it's a painting job, you bring a notice of violation to paint your property.
Now, correction, if someone just wants to paint their house for leisure, it's not a violation. We are not bringing that kind of permit here,
No,
the free permit.
right.
There are a lot of permits that people apply for, that they start a job and they're supposed to get a final inspection.
I'm thinking.
They never get a final inspection. You'll be surprised how many permits we found that people never got a final inspection and they're sitting there for 2 and 3 years. Those are the type of permits I'm talking about.
You mean like
That's-
installing a bathroom and they never.
Installed a
plumbed?
bathroom and never, they continued living in the house, sold the house without a final permit. Yes.
That's why I just want to
inspection.
know what we were talking, what are we looking at, and what's our remedy? Because
Yes, remedy for us
be
is to
to
bring them.
finalize the
forward for a
permit
ruling.
or finalize the permit
Correct.
or a daily fine or
Or a
something.
daily
whatever.
fine, or we lien the
All right.
property for the outstanding amount.
Okay, I
Some,
got you
some
now.
repercussion just to make them comply.
I got a better understanding.
Expired permits. Usually an open permit, we don't touch because an open permit means something is still going on. And some permits can be open for 2 years, some permits can be open for 6 months. So we don't touch those. We're talking about expired permit.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Favor?
Aye.
Good night.
You adjourn.